Welcome back, everybody. Glad you could visit with me here in the workshop. Today is the final reveal of the plane tune-up series. And I thought, what more fitting end than to plane a wood that is, how shall I say, difficult at best. This is olive wood. Olive wood is just as the name implies. It comes from the harvesting of the top sections of olive trees when they prune the orchards. Okay? So these are the shavings I'm getting off of this with a finely tuned plane, flattened sole, and a freshly honed blade. Is it perfect? No, because it's olive wood. Olive wood, you have a lot of things to deal with. You have reversing grain, you've got knots, cracks. It's just pretty much a nasty wood to try and hand plane. But, as you can see, it does work. It is a beautiful wood. Comes from mostly the, I would say, the Adriatic and Middle Eastern areas of the world. Spain, Portugal, Italy, Tunisia, Israel, all over that region of Northern Africa. And I just love the grain, the variation in the grain. But as you can see, this would have been a crotch of a tree. This would be stump wood. But it does tend to crack in drying. And I use it for small pieces. Like maybe this area here could be a handle. And this area here could be some sort of a turning. People use it for turning pens. Also good for making jewelry. You take something in here and you can make a pair of earrings out of that. So that's olive wood. So this is the conclusion of the plane tune-up. So I just want to step back and review everything that I've done and show you the final result. And this is it. So the number 4 we couldn't do anything with because I didn't have the right blade set. And this is the 5 and the 6. Let's get them on an angle here so you can see them. All right. So what did we end up doing? On the 5, I soaked it in soapy water to get dirt and grime off. Then I went over it and oiled it to protect it. And basically this is the result. I used a little bit of 4/0 steel wool here and there. Took every single screw out, knobs, tote. This one does need a new knob. So if anyone out there happens to have a spare number 5 knob, which a number 5 knob is the same as a number 6, which is the same as number 7, and so on and so forth. Where are my calipers? There they are. So what we need is a tall knob measuring about 2.5 to 2 5/8 inches, something like that, 2.5. So if you happen to have a 2 5/8 inch tall knob in rosewood that you're not using, contact me. My friend who has these planes would love it. They're 1 5/8 inch, 6/32, something like that. So that's what we're going to need yet to finish that up. But that's easy enough for him to swap out a knob. So contact me on that if you happen to have one. And we talked about in the last video different types of finishes or cleaners and solvents and whatever, and there's a lot of different ones out there. I really don't think you need to get a specific one. This one, I used the Kramers on it, and then I followed up on the handles with some Alfie Shine. And before I pack it away and ship it back, I'll give the whole thing a good coat of Alfie Shine, polish it up, and you can see how nice the tote came out. Nice and shiny. Knob's a little more dull because you put your hand right down on that and it gets dull. But I did the same thing on the number 5. Not quite as shiny, but very smooth, clean, ready to go to work. We flattened the soles best I could. There is a small section, and by the way, normally as a craftsman you should never point out your flaws in your work because most likely nobody will ever know. I just wanted to show you what is acceptable. There are a few dark marks in this area here. They're not really pitting, they're just, it could have been from the original casting. I wasn't going to take away a lot more metal just to get rid of those marks. They're perfectly acceptable. On the number 5, we have a couple of those in here. I don't think you'll see them. And then, as I mentioned when I talked about flattening, there's a little bit that didn't quite get flattened out on that front end and a little bit on the tail. That's perfectly acceptable. So they're like new now as far as operation. It's not a restoration, it's a tune-up. And it may seem like a lot of work to you to tune them up, but as I am the wizard of my workshop, I did the best magic I could on them. And now it's time for them to get packed up and go back to their owner. So while I'm talking about packing them up, I'd like to mention how I prefer to pack them up. And I've only lost one plane in all the years of shipping hundreds of planes out, and that was recently. One of the things I like to do is bubble wrap the entire plane assembled. No need to take it apart. If you want to take it apart and pack each piece individually, that's fine. It's a lot of extra work. Lee Nielsen ships their planes fully assembled, so I'm not going to argue with them. So bubble wrap it, and then I usually take a board that's a little wider and a little longer than the plane, and I shrink wrap it to it. Lately, I have not understood how the Postal Service manages to damage so much stuff, but the owner of these shipped them to me in cradles. So I'm going to put them back in their cradles with the bubble wrap, and then I'm going to put 3/4 inch styrofoam on either side. Wrap them again, put them in the box, and have at least 2 inches of space around every tool, and fill that with styrofoam peanuts. After that, you just make sure you have your insurance and proof. Here's the thing, you have to have proof of value. So that'll mean either getting an appraisal of the tool, or if you have a purchase receipt that you paid for the tool. These are being done just as a tune-up, so I'm not charging him for it. What he chooses to send me is fine. But I wanted to share this all with you and I hope that it was of some benefit to you, whether you found it educational or just entertaining. Olive wood. I like olives. Not everybody likes olives. So next time up, I think we're going to start a series on what is a plane and how to build a plane without having a plane. It's been one of those things that has been talked about. How do you build a plane if you don't have a plane to start with? So we're going to probably do a little bit of strange stuff with that. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section. If you found this enjoyable, give it a thumbs up. And I hope that you've been subscribed. Remember, we've got a 1,000 subscriber giveaway coming up. Can't wait for that. That's all for today. Head out to your shop. Make some shavings. Walter out.